Welcome back to Media Week. Well, let's take a look now at the media sector's performance on the share market this week. And to do that, we're joined now by Evan Lucas from IG Markets. Evan, good to see you this afternoon. Look, media stocks, are they being impacted by this decision not to taper like everything else has been?
Yeah, look, they certainly are, Nigel, and they're actually being impacted on the Australian listings particularly, actually negatively. If you look at something like Fox and also New News Corp, both of them have most of their underwritings and most of their earnings coming out of the US, and with that in mind, they do get impacted by the headwinds that are now being created by a falling US dollar from what happened in the Fed. So the Fox particularly has been doing very, very well since the split. They've really run up around about 28.5% since that June split out. But today they have pulled back. They've pulled back around about 1.5%, a bit of profit taking there. But it will be a very interesting place to watch now that they are under a bit of pressure considering what came out of the Fed. So unfortunately, they haven't escaped the good news. But if you look to the other side on the Australian side, so things like Seven West Media and also Fairfax, they have done well out of this. There is a bit of green on screen across the board in the media space, barring those that have the US dollar exposure.
Now, what about these reports we're hearing that Nine Entertainment will likely list? We're hearing December 9th. What do you make of that?
Yeah, having a look, the AFR is reporting that they are looking at listing on December 9th. We also expect that the listing will be quite strong. They're talking around about $3 billion for the company. It does look like they are starting to get their house in order. Hopefully the papers will be lodged very, very soon and we'll get a little bit more understanding as to how they're going to do it. But December 9th would be a very good time to do it. If we do have a good couple of months on the market, like it looks like we probably will now, it may actually strengthen that IPO even further and really build some excitement into the listing itself. Absolutely,
especially with that tapering off the cards, it seems, at least in the short term. Evan, thanks for the update today.
Thanks, Nigel.
Well, the latest SMI ad sales data for August shows the TV ad market is still strong, but newspapers and magazine revenue, well, that's down year on year. For the details, let's return to our co-host now, Media Week's James Manning. James, what do you make of those figures? It seems that the bad news for print in some cases is continuing.
Yeah, it is, and look, it's going to continue for a while. There's a long-term trend there. Everybody tells you, look, be careful with these monthly figures because they can, be strange things, more issues, less issues in some months compared to the previous year, which is how they get the percentage change. But yeah, it's definitely a long-term trend. Newspapers are hurting more than magazines, but the TV seems to be having a good well, looks like it could be set for a good last half of the calendar year with some of those figures up. Seven still doing very well with a commercial share above 40%, 9 not too far back, and 10 still a fair way back at about 22% according to those August.
So advertisers still seeing the value in TV ads as opposed to print?
Yeah, it's holding up a lot better. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, talking about TV, we've seen their COO, Rohan Lund, I think it is, stepping down after 9 years in the company. Now, rumours that he's been tapped on the shoulder for the NBN, I'm hearing as well. What can you tell us?
Yeah, he said he didn't really have anything to say. He wasn't able to offer any clarity on that when interviewed about it with the announcement. You've got to think he's staying on at Seven till I think close to the end of the year. So you can pretty much safely assume he's not going to a competing broadcaster. So that wouldn't rule out the NBN. So he could definitely be up for a job there. Spent most of his time at Seven on the Yahoo 7 side of the business.
Right. So the kind of online digital experience is there if NBN
absolutely
to make use of it. Now, Rupert Murdoch and Kim Williams, as we know, Kim left News Limited some time ago. They're both scheduled to make major speeches coming up. What are they likely to say?
Well, towards the end of October, Rupert Murdoch's going to be speaking at the Lowy Institute. It's a fairly prestigious thing to deliver. He comes down under every October, and he usually makes one sort of major statement when he's here. It's a fair way off. Who knows what's happening in the media space between now and then. So I think he'll give a general update on probably the outlook for the magazines maybe.
And Kim Williams?
And Kim Williams, yeah, he's going to be speaking at the SPA conference in November. A lot of people know about his experience at Foxtel and at News, but before that he was very heavily into the production sector. So he'll be speaking to that sort of audience. So he'll be speaking to his former colleagues about, and we might get some sort of indication of where he might be heading next.
And he was quite praiseworthy of News Limited recently when he made some comments about the company as well. So probably will continue in the same vein. one of the publications he ran, The Australian, of course, they're changing their model now, their metered model, 5 reads. Why have they done this?
Yeah, I think probably to sample it to more people. I think they had a lot of stuff behind a paywall that was not available to anybody. Now they've sort of opened it all up for anybody who can go on and get the first 5 things free. So you can read anything 5 times before you hit that paywall. They've lifted the price of digital subscriptions very slightly to $4 a week. I think I'm going to be paying now $6 a week, so I get the weekend newspaper as well as a digital subscription, so I'll be paying $6, but it's still dirt cheap.
Now this is similar to the Fairfax model of 30 free articles a month. I get through those 30 articles in about 2 days, so I end up paying pretty quickly. But is that an indication then that they need to give some kind of free sample, if you like, to get people to...
Yeah, I think they're probably finding that the strict paywall is, it's a very brave move to do that.
Now Pacific Magazines, they've launched this health and wellbeing partnership in conjunction with the pharmacy, Priceline.
Yeah, Priceline, a good supporter of magazines. In fact, Priceline, they're a co-sponsor of the Bowers 30 Days of Fashion and Beauty, and it's a good initiative for them too, to get a good spread across all those Pacific titles, if you like, and spread their brand a little bit further. But yeah, they're big into magazines and it works for them.
Okay, let's cross sectors now, if you like, and go to radio. This app that I've heard advertised on a number of different radio stations, it's called iHeartRadio, and now it's the #1 app in the Apple Store. Why is it so popular?
Yeah, well, because it's free, I guess, and you get quite a bit of value. I mean, we had the chief executive on here last week talking it up. He's actually going to be in Las Vegas this weekend. There's a big iHeartRadio festival, and if you do get the app, you can download, stream a lot of the content exclusively, and they have got virtually every big name in music, from people like, I think, Miley Cyrus through to Paul McCartney, so all sort of genres are covered.
Doesn't that divert people away, though, from radio stations to listen to iHeartRadio?
Well, we sort of asked him about that last week, and he said, no, not really, because you can stream all those stations live as well, so you can get the big entertainment breakfast shows live, but then you can get off during the day and you can sample other stuff too. But it's a space you've probably got to be in, because you know there are people who are going to prefer to stream their music, so you might as well get a bit of that business too. And
still in the radio land, Greg Carey, he's quit 4BC, so Fairfax looking for a new breakfast host. Yeah,
well, he does mornings, but they're also looking for breakfast co-hosts, because they're sort of so they're sampling for breakfast and mornings at their Brisbane station.
Okay, James, thank you. We'll come back to you shortly. And still coming up on Media Week, the $1 Million Minute. How has Seven's new offering fared in the pre-news battle for viewers on free-to-air TV?